Let's go out there with a bunch of crazed dogs.
My camera. How about them Giants? How about them Giants? How about them Giants?
Woo! That's right, baby. We're back. And we're back actually as a podcast. Here we are. Welcome to Giants Rush, kind of an impromptu get together because we know you want to talk about Harbaugh. I want to talk about Harbaugh. Who doesn't and who isn't talking about Harbaugh? All right. You got people crying, whining that they lost out on Harbaugh, like all those Tennessee people. Wah. Okay. Sorry. Better luck next time. Hey, what's up, Daniel? Daniel's already in the room. Yeah. Happy Thursday, man. You don't normally see us here on Thursday, but we're here now. Talk about John Harbaugh. I got the guys. I'm going to bring them in. And I guess what's real easy is, this is a new era for the Giants. It's definitely different. If you're an older dude like me, you really have this feeling like, okay, you reset the expectations for the franchise. You're bringing in this guy that is basically what I would call Coughlin Part 2 or 2.0, right? Experience, has won a Super Bowl, goes to the playoffs, 12 of 18 years, has, as we talked about last week with Ryan Dunleavy, he is, coached, a half a dozen Hall of Famers. I mean, this guy is a good coach, knows how to be the CEO, knows how to make movements. Looks like, I think last night, I reported it around 11:30 that it was official where so everything is a go there. Plenty to talk about. We'll take your questions. We'll get into, a couple topics like who's going to be the OC, who's going to be the DC, who should not be the OC, and who should not be the DC. Easiest place to start for me is something that I always have fun with because
it's good to be the king.
Woo, it's good to be the king, baby. And I'm here to tell you that the Giants are back. We got a lot of work to do, so let's not get crazy. But this is where you start 2026. Not like, oh, man, all these coaching candidates, oh, we're going to suck again. No, we have definitely righted the ship, and GM Joe Shane has gotten a little bit of a reprieve right now. I know that you're familiar with this guy.
No Coach Boston, he is the man. Well, the captain toughen up is over here giving themselves a beer bash.
Beer bash. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Craig. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me on tonight.
But of course, dude. Of course. Like, look. Just because you took 2 months off doesn't mean you're not still part of the show, man. Just because you've been backpacking across Africa and surfing in Costa Rica, all that stuff. However, while you were gone, we won a couple games at the end of the year, and we were worried. And then, of course, we were kind of worried about where would the Giants be going. Well, we got a pretty good direction of which way we're going now. Were you shocked it happened this quickly?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking it might be another couple days when he left yesterday. I wasn't thinking today. I think over the weekend is kind of what I was targeting going into next week. But hey, nice surprise. Nice surprise. It happened overnight.
Yeah, no doubt. And let's bring in Sean. What's up, dude?
What's going on?
You know what's
Exciting
going
day,
on.
exciting day. I do. It's exciting. It's nice. I'm in full Giants gear again. I can wear full Giants gear. I don't have to be in
Yeah.
mourning. I don't have to be. I can be proud again.
I will tell you that I was on a lot of calls today for work, and my headquarters is in Virginia. So I got a bunch of people like saying, "Oh, you'll see." I'm like, no, I'm not going to see anything. Don't cry because your owner chose the quarterback over the coach. Don't cry. Then I had a bunch of people from Cleveland call me, and they're like, "Wah, we wanted him to come here." Wah. And I'm like, dude, he was never coming there.
Right.
Right. So,
No way.
Stop that, that process from even, starting the conversation. Had a lot of fun today.
Good to be back out with Chris. It's like the OG's back.
Oh,
we
yeah.
got the original gang back together here.
Yeah.
Likewise, Sean.
Yeah. And, we'll get, let's do a little bit of more of an impromptu show. So we don't have a whole lot of like designated topics, but, and we definitely, what's up, Rob? Rob's in the house. What's up, Rob? I'm going to start off with some softballs for you guys. We started a Monday show with love, hate. We can kind of do that again, but let's just give me this, Sean. Give me this. So I asked Chris a second ago if he thought it was going to happen this fast, regardless of like what Twitter was saying and what did you think timeline? Did you know like, hey, because we all kind of found out about the flight. We were like, oh, wow, Tish got on the plane and they flew down there. Like, did you think it was going to happen this fast?
Yeah. So I had an idea it might. Had, somebody kind of telling me some stuff, and I thought it might. But then when he left the building, I wasn't sure. But then I heard they were at dinner, and then the plane was late leaving after that. I was like, oh, yeah, this is going to happen. So I the official they can't do because obviously, they got to do paperwork and the contract, and it's $100 million contract. So it's going to take some time. But yeah, I just had a feeling like first of all, you get flown in, right, on a jet. He was there for what, 12 hours or whatever, 10 hours there. I was like, yeah, he's going to be the coach. So there wasn't a doubt in my mind. And I had some good intel that I got from somebody that hit the nail on the head with the information he gave me. So I felt really good.
Chris, did you kind of make you giddy to know that like behind the scenes they flew to his house and were hanging out with him? Because that's not something that, listen, in the New York market seems to know everything. And then all of a sudden we're like, wait, who flew where? Mm-hmm. Chris Mara flew to his house?
Yeah, and it probably was leaked even by Chris Mara, right, with the PR. But it just goes to show that they were not going to leave any stone unturned. They were going to do anything and everything in their power to secure John Harbaugh to be the next head coach of the Giants. So even if John Harbaugh would have went somewhere else, I don't think you could have given the Giants a hell of a lot of grief, because it seems like they did everything and anything, including shame, in their power, and also John Mara, to make sure that they do everything they can to get John to be the next head coach. So hell of a job by the whole leadership, Jackson Dart, even Tom Coughlin, Eli Manning, everybody was on board for this, which is great. Even Brian Dable, as we heard, made a phone call and spoke to John.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Here's something that I have a friend now. Kind of keep his name out of this, but I have a friend who kind of close to the team and told me that he thought the coolest story to come out of this, because the story got misreported earlier. You know how these guys are all trying to jump on who's going to be first. So there was a story that came out that Eli Manning called John Harbaugh to recruit him, right? Which is not what happened. John Harbaugh actually called Peyton Manning and said, "Hey, can I get your brother's number?" And Peyton was like, "Yeah, of course." And hooked him up with Eli, and John called Eli, which to me speaks volume of what people think about Eli, what John thinks about Eli, because again, like we all love Eli Manning, but knowing that, he's been removed from the team for quite some time, he's not in the front office, right? don't get me wrong, he's the biggest and the best spokesperson for the team, but I just thought it was pretty cool that, John wanted Eli's input, on the franchise and how it operates and all those good things that they talked about. So thought that was like super cool. And again, I said it last night, I'll say it again today. It's like a refresh. It is a restart. And not for, and we can go into a million reasons why. It's just that there's a guy in the building now that's going to control everything. He's going, because he's done it for so long and he's done it well. You can't, I think Mark in the room here, Mark said, coaching matters. Coaching does matter, but you know what also matters? Experience. Having won before. Remember, folks, there are 12 NFL teams that have never won a Super Bowl. 12, okay? There's never been a coach to win 2 Super Bowls on 2 different teams. I'm rolling the dice saying we're going to be it.
Well, but here's the exciting thing too, Craig, as you talk about this, that what he commands, he not only commands in the thing, he's also going to have more control over personnel, which is good. Shane's going to take a backseat to that, which is exciting. But here's the thing that we've been talking about for a while. He is going to have people on edge in a good way. He demands excellence. His practices are tough. He runs the hardest practices that are out there. We're going to have a tough physical football team again. How long have we been talking about this and wanting this? And now we got this, right? So let me just give a quick shot. I know Mark's in here. We talked about Rob, Big James, K-Mac, Brad, everybody in here. Like, we're all excited. Like, this has united the fan base with a couple of like youngins and a few millennials that whatever. But I mean, who would have thought that the fan base could be united like this over a coach? An opportunity like this doesn't come around. And listen, you guys know I've been hard on John Mara for a lot of things, but I will give him all the credit in the world with, yeah, I know, right? Rightfully so when it comes to football stuff. However, this, for what he was what he is battling, and for him to show up and be part of this and make this happen, like, all kudos goes to John Mara for getting that his legacy higher here. Like, unbelievable, amazing, and more people need to celebrate that fact of what he's did with what he has going on for sure.
Yeah, and you know what? I've said this a million times. I catch flack for it all the time. You got to win 8 games before you win 10. You got to win 8 games before you go to the playoffs. You got to win 8 games before you get to the Super Bowl. You got a guy that knows how to get there. And look, you could say, they were a catch from going to the AFC Championship game last year, right? He's not afraid to be aggressive on defense. He's not afraid. Chris, I don't know if you knew this or not, but we talked about it on Monday. 2019, 2020, 21, and 2023, they drafted a wide receiver in the first round. Mm-hmm. So you have to ask yourself, did 2 of those 3 first round picks fail, or did they just not have a quarterback, that could take advantage of talented wide receivers? I'm not killing Lamar, but there's a reason why the Ravens didn't get over the hump.
Yeah, I mean, we even saw with Hollywood Henderson when he was with the Ravens, right? Kind of slamming Lamar, on the side a little bit when he left about not getting the ball, not throwing downfield. Although Monken's been there now 3 years and I think done a pretty good job. Lamar's been hurt. But if I could add one thing, guys, today I couldn't help but wonder. We talked about the 4 games that the Giants dropped when they were up by 10 points, right? Was it 4 games?
Yeah, it's Chicago, New Orleans, Denver, and might have been Dallas, maybe?
All right, whatever. So the pain that we felt as fans going through that was excruciating. It was like getting your teeth ripped out without Novocaine. However, looking back, it was damn worth it, because if Dable wins 7 games, he's not getting fired. And this Harbaugh change doesn't happen with the Giants, because they would have kept Dable, especially with his admiration for Dart. Giants win 7 games, even if they miss the playoffs. Dable's not going anywhere. So sometimes we had to go through the excruciating pain of those losses. But looking back, long term, it's going to be worth it, because we wouldn't have gotten Harbaugh if we would have won 7 games.
And by the way, Chris, again, I like Daboll. If he had fired Shane, he'd still be here if Bowen gotten fired, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between, and again, and I'm so
and Harbaugh knows how to run a program. I mean, that's really what we're talking about here.
That's where I was going.
Yes.
I was like,
yep.
No, it's fine. I was just basically gonna say, like, you know what? Like, I like Daboll. I was still a Daboll guy. I started not to be a Daboll guy when we wouldn't get rid of Bowen, when you knew it was the issue that we couldn't close games out, right? There's such a dramatic difference on what John Harbaugh is. He has earned the respect that he has. He's got the respect of Ray Lewis and Terrell Suggs and whoever, Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, you know what I mean? All the guys, Ed Reed, all these great players he's had, they all respect John. And they won a lot of games. They did win a Super Bowl. They got close a couple times. Like, there's just a difference on kind of hoping and poking with Daboll. And I've said this before, that source I said before said that Daboll tried too much after year one. Year one, he was the CEO type and it worked. Year two, with all the Jones issues, he dropped back into being an offensive coordinator, and all those other things kind of fell out of place that shouldn't. So it's just as P said, who's doing victory shots today? We all are. We all are, because
right.
it just feels like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's our time. We've gone 12 years. Maybe it's our time to actually be a competitive football team again.
It's ironic how the losses actually played in our favor, and not for draft picks, but for a head coach, right? The losses played in our favor because, once again, they win 7 games. This isn't happening today.
Yeah, and Peace brought a point too. We got to give a shout out to Chris Mayer as well, who flew down there, had lunch with him on Sunday, did all that, and this might be the glimpse into the future of the succession plan of later on. So we'll see. Yeah. Stay tuned, because I may have some news on that down the road.
Yeah, and we all know, we've said it a million times, the players like Chris Mayer. So they do. When
he gets a lot of hate from some certain Giants fans, and I think it's undue. So he definitely should get some flowers now. I think
because he gets lumped in there with Abrams and
McDonald.
And I again, I mean, don't get me wrong, Chris is not going to go unscathed here, but I do think the players, I've told you the story, I'm not going to tell you a bazillion more times, but the players like Chris. He's been around a long time. He's come up through the ranks. So I think Chris is going to do a great job. And again, you've got a CEO type of coach who's not going to let the kicker, go unsolved, the kicker issue unsolved, the punt returner unsolved. Like, at its worst, the Giants will compete. Okay, I can't dictate how many games you're going to win, but the Giants will compete and they will play above the X's and O's, because that's what every Raven team has done. You know how I know? Because the guy employed a fullback, because he said, I want a fullback because it makes a difference. Only smart coaches realize, you know what? I'm gonna put this guy on the roster because I think it makes a difference. Like, those are the kind of guys that are thinking outside the box.
Yeah, and it's funny, the philosophy between his dad and his brother Jim, they love the fullbacks. Jim does the same thing with Juszczyk, right? So I have a feeling Ricard, every coach wants to bring a few of their own guys to try and help things along with the system and also the culture. I wouldn't be surprised, a few guys like that end up with the Giants, like a Ricard or maybe a Linderbaum, a Likely. There's going to be a few Ravens, which brings some of that, to us. Could you imagine Ricard and Scatterbo right in the backfield? That'd be something.
By the way, let's. I'm going to give I don't have a beer in my hand, but we love Chris Peace. He's in the chat right now. He sent me a video of him and his wife and his friends. They were out last night. They were toasting to John Harbaugh, but we were also toasting to Chris's wife's birthday. So shout out to Mrs. Peace. Happy birthday. I'm a big fan of celebrating birthdays. I try to stretch mine out as long as possible. I usually try to go 2-3 days where it's all about me, because the rest of the year it's never about me. Sean,
mine a whole month.
yeah, I love it. Yeah, tell me. Let's say, okay, so John's wrapping up a contract. They're working through those details. What's your opinion on Joe Shane during this process?
I mean, I'll say this. He did what needed to be done to make sure that Harbaugh was here. So he didn't let his ego get in the way. I think this is good for Shane because he can learn a lot from Harbaugh. Um, I mean, Shane may be dumb, but he ain't stupid. Like, he's not gonna be the reason why a coach like John Harbaugh doesn't come here. So the fact that and from everything that's out there, they get along well. He's going to relinquish whatever power he had over personnel, all of that, which is good. So again, the game day rosters, the elevations, like that'll start making sense again. Like it'll be good moves. So I will give him credit for checking his ego at the door and getting this done, because he said when he was hired, he was always going to do what was in the best interest of the New York Giants. And he put his money where his mouth is by doing that and getting John Harbaugh here and taking a back seat.
Chris, does this buy Shane more time? Because his contract's going to come up. Shane's going to need to get a new deal here next year. Does this buy him a 2-year deal?
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2. It's going to come up now. They're not going to let him go into 26 with a 1 year on his contract, I would think. So I would think they'll probably extend it for at least a year. But I think it's going to be a collaborative effort between him and Harbaugh. I mean, on the personnel side, Harbaugh is going to make the call. Nothing's going to be done probably without running it through Harbaugh. I'm sure that was one of the main concerns in the negotiation, is that Harbaugh has got to sign off on the personnel. Roster is a big part of what Harbaugh does to build his program. And this is only going to preserve Shane's, lifespan with the Giants. So it's in his best interest to go along with, or to be collaborative with Harbaugh and not go against the not go against the grain, so to speak, and hopefully collaborative. Listen, on the personnel side, I trust Harbaugh more than I do with roster than Shane. So I think working together, I think Harbaugh ultimately have the final say. That's just my guess.
And to that point, Chris, it's also going to help with the draft, because now we're not going to worry about positional value. We're going to draft the best guys that are there. And that's what I'm excited about too, because I'm so tired of hearing about positional value. Just get ball players, get guys that are here. So that should be pretty exciting come draft time too.
Yeah. And you have seen with Shane, when a coach or like Dable wanted to get a player, he's usually pretty good with going to get him. We saw that with Banks, with Wink. So, I mean, I feel like Shane does work well with the coach. He's not stubborn, where he's stubborn in other areas when it comes to contracts and different things. But I don't believe he's open-minded, it seems, when it comes to with a coach and a player that he wants.
Yeah, I think the thing that sticks out about Shane, like now that you've got a higher level look at Shane, is the first thing is, when it comes to draft, no problem. He'll go get the guy you want. Contracts, he draws some stupid line in the sand and it bites himself, almost every time it bites himself. And he's not good at what I would call being nimble. He cannot pivot when you need. Now, and you could say, well, what does that mean? When you look at a really well-run franchise, if a star player or doesn't necessarily have to be a star player, but if an important position goes down, you find a lot of really good GMs shuffle the deck of cards and come up with some type of quote-unquote Band-Aid, which Shane has never done, because we've had an issue. We had McFadden went down. They never replaced him. Debo went down. They never replaced him. And shout out to Cold, by the way, because Cold and I were talking about and Cold, correct me if I'm wrong, but there were 7 or 8 guys that were bagging groceries at ShopRite when they had NFL experience, and Shane couldn't pull the trigger on a guy. Instead, his big move was to bring Corey Black back from the practice squad from the Jets. You know what I mean?
Well, just remember, with the salary cap, you saw with Shane, he wouldn't elevate guys on the practice squad after 2 moves, because that third move, that player has to be on the 53. So you almost got the thing. He was nickel and diamond on these salaries, not wanting to move these guys on that third time, which now you have to be on the 53. You can't go back to the practice squad. So hoping Harbaugh, doing this for 18 years, is going to maneuver this roster the way he wants. Perfect
example of that is Sean and I were pulling our hair out of our head. Not that Sean has a lot of hair, but I'm just.
Don't start that rumor out there. Do not start that rumor out there. There's plenty of hair under this hat. Thank you very much.
It's all love, buddy. It's all love. We were talking about, you sit there and you're looking at Shane and you're just like, dude, like just do anything. do something. And then there's a kicker issue, and there's no linebacker, and there's no punt returner. And then you add insult to injury and you bring up Turbo Miller, and we're like, all right, here we go. Turbo Miller, and he healthy scratches him. And you're like, come on.
And you know what, Craig and Sean, you saw that even last year with Dable. The last week of the season of 2024, they brought Turbo up that last week. They didn't play him, but they brought him up just to secure him on the roster so he wouldn't be hanging out there as a free agent. Yeah. But it doesn't make sense. If you're going to bring him up, you're going to use him. Hey, by the way, John over at BBI just gave us $5.
Oh yeah, just saw that.
On the thing.
And Eric.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John and Eric. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, John Eric.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think that what I would call that nonsense will exist when Harbaugh's there. You're not bringing Turbo Miller up to just healthy scratch him, right? McFadden goes down. You're going to find a linebacker. Cold reassured me that it was 7 quality players that we were talking about. We had a list of 7 DBs that could walk on right now. You can pay him $500,000 to give you some kind of support. Instead, nobody, right? Like, so those again, I'll go back to the word nonsense. That nonsense is going to end. It's over. It's just, there's no more nonsense, right? We're just going to be.
If I'm not mistaken, aren't the Ravens good with the cap as well? Which that should help. Harbaugh should help Abrams get some better contracts and be creative with the cap as well. Because
possibly, yeah.
Right?
I mean, again, I was a big fan of Ozzie Newsome, so Ozzie ran a really tight ship on building Baltimore up from nothing, right? So, I'm sure Harbaugh learned a lot from Ozzie over those years, and then when Ozzie retired. So, yeah, I think all the things that from an upper level management, Harbaugh brings everything we don't have and haven't had since Coughlin. So, Chris, shifting gears, we've heard like the rumors and who's out there and who's not. Let's talk about offensive coordinators, because we know that Dart was in the building when John showed up. They got to meet face to face. That's huge, right? Because now, Dart becomes Harbaugh's guy, right? Yeah. So,
and from what we heard, it was like a couple hours they sat down.
Yeah. Yep. So the question is, who do you give me 3? Give me 3. How about this?
I don't even. Yeah, good.
Give me 3 guys. Who do you want as the offensive coordinator here that's going to come in and make us move?
I don't know. It's going to be. We don't even have to even go down that road. It's going to be Todd Monken. That's his guy. It's loyalty. It's been with him now for a few years. It's going to be Todd Monken, and that's pretty much the word on the street. And I understand why. He's going to bring his system, what he's comfortable with. He's comfortable working with him. So, what a guy like Kingsbury's out there. He throws the ball a lot, but Monken's going to be great with the RPOs. He's going to be good with, a balanced attack. He's going to throw downfield, right? So I think it's pretty much a slam dunk. It's going to be Todd Monken.
Yeah, I'm going to throw this up on the screen because Cole just literally just took the words right out of my mouth. That's fine, right? We've got 2 really good running backs on this team. He's got to make sure he runs the ball.
Well, we saw situational this year with Henry. There was a little issue here and there with Henry being a little bit invisible later in the game on some short yardage, and I think that raised a lot of eyebrows.
I wonder how much that has to do with Lamar, though, and Lamar wanted to be involved more, because there was rumor going out that, this, that, and the other thing. But when you look at where his offensive ranks are, they're high. It's like 2nd, 4th, and 8th in like the major categories. So, yeah, I don't care what he does. Give me those rankings. Run it, not run it. I don't care. Score points. Like, he's up there and scoring points. I don't really care, to be honest. But yeah, Monken's going to be the guy. There's no doubt about it. Harbaugh lost his job because he wouldn't fire Todd Monken. Now, the only caveat is if Todd Monken gets a head coaching position, because he did interview in Cleveland. So is that something that Cleveland would do? I don't know. But if
win the Super Bowl in New York, or die on the vine,
or the opportunity to be a head coach. But I mean, listen, it's Monken's system is perfect with the RPOs, all of that. It's perfect for what Jackson Dart good and what he excels at. So we're going to get back to utilizing what our quarterback is good at and not being afraid of doing those things with him. So absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited about Tom. And everywhere he's been, he's had success. College level, NFL level, he's had success. Lamar had an MVP season under Todd Monken. So there you go.
And by the way, we've talked about this too, Sean. The other night we were talking, Chris, about when again I have a headquarters down there in Northern Virginia, right? It's right, not that far over the Maryland borderline, so they're close to it. And they reassured me that all the things that you hear are true. That Harbaugh is like tired of the lack of evolution to the offense, right? Like it doesn't grow. It's not vertical. It's not explosive, right? Like it's just not it's not feared, right? Like every year you got to worry about what the hell the Rams are doing, what the heck Kansas City's doing, the heck is Detroit doing, and everybody knows it's Lamar, at Baltimore, and that definitely caused a rift because they wanted Monken to do something different, and Lamar's like, no, man, I got to run the Lamar show. So he's not going to have that issue because, again, he's got a lot of well-rounded football players. And then I think Monken's a really good choice. I mean, again, and I don't even know if there was even a conversation with any other offensive coordinator. Like you guys said, he likes Monken and he got fired basically because of it.
Yep. And
I mean, they're going to have to interview other people. I mean, they can't just hire him. But
you think so, Sean? I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, because you got to go through the process.
Well, that's okay. All right. The Rooney Rule.
It's the same thing as hiring a head coach.
Of course.
The same thing with the defensive coordinator spot, which I know we're going to talk about after.
Good segue, Sean.
It's almost like I knew what I was doing there, right? Yeah. Like a segue almost. Look at that.
You know what? You're all grown up now.
I know, right?
Give me your choices. I mean, I know what the rumors are. There are two specific rumors that are floating around. So address the rumors and then tell me your thought process on who should get it, or give me three. Give me three guys if you got them.
Yeah, well, the rumors that are out there's a couple rumors going around. One is about Anthony Weaver, but that was taken out of context from what Connor Hughes had said, that he's among the candidates that they're going to interview. So now everybody's saying, well, he's the favorite and that's who they want and who they're targeting. But I believe it's going to be Jim Leonard, who's going to be DC, but he can't interview, can't do anything yet because Denver's still in the playoffs, right? There is talk that Bolin is viewed very highly by John Harbaugh. I would not be opposed to that. It's not who I want, but as a backup option, I don't know. I mean, Anthony Weaver could be another one because he has that with him. I didn't like what he did in Miami. Their defense was kind of an issue for them. So I do have some concerns with that. But if you're working with John Harbaugh, I think he's going to make everybody better anyway. And I think Weaver did well in Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken. But I like Jim Leonard, and Rob in the chat put me on to him months ago about that guy, just what he does. He's aggressive, what he's been doing in Denver, the type of player he was. So I think Leonard would be a great fit here for that tough physical defense that we've been looking for.
Brad says apparently John didn't want to go to the Raiders because his brother's in that division. Yeah, this probably has a little bit of truth to that.
You never have a quarterback either, right? He'd be walking into pretty much.
Or it's the Raiders.
I mean, there's a lot of building to do there. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some other candidates out there that I probably will get some love. Sean, what do you think about Schwartz, and what do you think about Pierce?
I think Schwartz would be a great hire because we've seen what he's done in Cleveland, so I would not have an issue with Schwartz.
And what he did when he was with the Eagles.
Yeah. Now, Pierce, listen, much as I love Antonio AP, I not as a DC, but I would love him to be, an inside linebackers coach here. And if you keep Bolin as outside linebacker, that's a nice 1-2 punch. But my biggest thing is I'm going to trust whoever John Harbaugh hires because he's got the track record of hiring great coaches. So honestly, it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I can talk about who I want, whoever, but I trust Harbaugh to do the right thing. But I wouldn't mind AP. I wouldn't want AP. I don't think he's ready to be a DC, and we got to have success right away. Like we can't have somebody on a learning curve, in my opinion.
Chris, what about Raheem Morris? I mean, Raheem Morris is out there too. Got a great track record, a lot of respect, goes around for Mr. Morris. Do you think he's a pick?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the relationship is with if Harbaugh has one with him. I'm sure they all know each other, these guys. Jersey guy from Irvington, Raheem Morris. which was what I found interesting, and I don't think there's a connection, but Darren Rizzi, who's the special teams coach for the Broncos, interviewed for the Giants, which I found very odd as one of the head coach candidates, jumping from special teams. Well, Harbaugh did as well. I'm almost thinking, is there a relationship between Darren Rizzi and Harbaugh at some point when all this was coming up to, hey, let's get a couple of Harbaugh's guys possibly down the road to interview. So I don't know about Darren Rizzi, but I did find that strange that the Giants would entertain Darren Rizzi, who's never been a coordinator, but a special teams coach for a head coaching position.
And it is a little bit odd, Chris. I would say, without wearing a tinfoil hat, that's probably a nod to Leonard. It's basically interviewing the special teams coach before you hire, before you hire Leonard, because he's practicing, right? Because
I'm leaning to what Sean said. I think it could be Leonard. He's been a head coach in college. He's been in the
but
NFL.
he might bring what Rizzi with him.
He'd have to be more than a lateral.
It'd be
move.
tough because Rizzi's also the associate head coach in Denver.
Okay.
So that's the reason why he got interviewed. Is, if you guys remember, he was the interim head coach for the Saints when they beat us.
Yep.
He's been associate head coach three different teams. So I think that's why he got it, and probably get some intel on Leonard, or I think they were going to interview Vance Joseph, or did they interview Vance Joseph? So that could be why as well.
They did. They did interview Vance.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to our guy, our Paisan, Tuto, with a donation as well. Tuto, salute. Paisano.
Yeah, Tuto's
absolutely
an OG.
Everybody's happy. Craig, seriously, Craig.
At least till week one.
Everybody's excited. Like, all of Twitter, like, there was like zero negativity that I could see today, right? It's like everybody is united. It's nice to feel like that Giants pride again. Like, we can't stress that enough.
Sure, let's wait till we get to the first preseason game. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, right.
With some of the fans.
We're going to see a big difference. What I'm curious about is I'm curious to see what the media is like with John Harbaugh. I want to see if they're going to change, or if they're going to be the same way they were with the last four head coaches here, or because it's John Harbaugh, they're going to act a little different, which I hope they do, because we don't need any negativity from anybody at this point.
Rob, tell me a little bit. You watched Raheem Morris play at Hofstra. So did you go to Hofstra, or you just happen to watch Hofstra football? Like, what's the deal with that? I need to know. The reason why is, again, dating myself, like, because I'm an old broken dude, as Cold likes to remind everyone. I played against Hofstra in college when they were still a D3 school, and they had a red shirt freshman on the team named Wayne Corbett. And he was like one of the fastest dudes I had ever seen play, and he was hurt because he was a red shirt. So he was just running routes on the sideline. You know what I mean? And I was like, who is that cat? And I didn't realize till later on that was Wayne Corbett. The next year they I guess upgraded or moved to 1AA, from 3. And in that year, Rob, Hofstra went to the Stag Bowl against Lycoming. If everybody knows Lycoming, they're a perennial D3 powerhouse. And the quarterback from Hofstra got dinged for steroids, because there's no testing in D3, or at least there wasn't any testing in D3 until you got to the playoffs. And then the steroid testing became random. You just picked a number out of the hat. You know what I mean? And you went and you pissed in the tube. Well, the quarterback's number got pulled, and he went to the bathroom and he got caught for steroids. And when they asked him on why he did it, he said he wanted to look good on spring break. So, yeah, exactly. Can't make this stuff up. So I was just wondering.
Good reason.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you went to Hofstra or and how you saw Raheem play. And I think he's a good candidate, by the way. I mean, Schwartz has been great everywhere he's gone, right? Cleveland, Philadelphia. He's just one of those dudes that he schemes defense really well. Antonio Pierce,
Stefanski, right? You would think he would follow Stefanski with that relationship. That's the
100%, 100%. But again, Schwartz has been waiting for his opportunity to get a head coaching job now for 15 years. I'm sure he wants to interview to maybe get a gig.
Cleveland interviewed him so he could get that head coaching position there.
Yeah. And you know what? Technically, it's probably his time. because Schwartz has been a defensive coordinator at a lot of places. If he was ever going to get a chance, this would be his time. Because, Antonio Pierce, I don't have a problem if he gets the DC job. I like Morris too. And I don't know enough about Leonard as a defensive coordinator, but he's got good credentials and he's done a great job in Denver. So, could be the guy.
Yeah, and you know what, guys? This is going to ramp up quick with a DC because you have the Senior Bowl in 2 weeks. So you got to think Harbaugh, once everything gets settled, he's going to want to get that staff together because in 2 weeks they're going to be at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, I tell you this much, which is also nice about this, Craig and Chris, is that they're not going to force a coach on John Harbaugh. They're going to let him pick his staff. In years past, it was like, Garrett. Let's have Jason Garrett because, he's a really good blah, blah, blah. Hey, let's have this coach. They're not going to do that to him. He's going to pick. He's got full autonomy over his staff. And that is the best part. The Giants finally are getting it. Granted, it's because Harbaugh has the reputation he has, but whatever the reason, Giants brass finally gets it. Let the head coach pick his staff.
Shout out to Tuto again for a $10 donation there. Thank you, my friend. Always a pleasure. Tuto is an OG there. I'm always so curious on the craziness that he writes it here. I always have a good time reading it. Deep pitch on our own powers made. All right, Tuto, we appreciate you. You know that. Cole wants to know why. Should I save the questions to the end, or we want to roll through some of these?
We can save to the end.
All right, we'll save them to the end. All right, so then we've got Schwartz, Leonard, and Morris, as the candidates that potentially, we know Monken's basically locking in there as OC. And as you just said, Senior Bowl, 2 weeks, right? We got to get this thing moving, get guys out to where they're supposed to be. And I don't know. Again, this is going to come down to like who's making these decisions, Chris. But we got 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we have 6 free agents on this team that need contracts. Is any of the guys on the Giants going to be a priority for Harbaugh, or is Harbaugh going to go bring in his own dudes? Because we've got 5 or 6 guys that can start somewhere else, for the most part. Do you think he, makes any of these guys a priority?
I got to think that when everything gets settled and he's ready to dive into the tape and look at the roster and look at these players, they're going to have an idea of what these guys will command on the open market, whether it's that first week, the second week, being a free agent. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say because you really don't have a feel yet on Harbaugh and what he's looking for and what he, collaborative with Shane with the salary cap. So very hard to say. But you got to think that he's going to want a few of his guys that are available coming over to the Ravens to help instill that system, whatever that may be, wherever the coordinator is, whether it's the culture, the system on the offense, defense, but to bring some of that blood over that help run, that team. But hard to say at this point.
The Giants, because Linderbaum, could potentially be someone that they want to look at with that fifth year option being turned down by Baltimore. If you guys don't, that first round pick safety for the Ravens.
Yeah.
But I will also remind people that depending on what numbers you're using, there are 3 or 4 different sets of, cumulative data that you can choose from. But the Giants have a in some categories, top 10, in some categories, top 15 offensive line. Better than Cleveland's offensive line, better than the Titans' offensive line. So he probably, Chris said, hey, I'm going to a place that's got a good line and a good quarterback because we need to work on that.
Hey, a good offensive line coach, right? Priscilla's still in the contract for a year, whether Harbaugh hopefully wants to keep him. And you have a guy like Falele over at the Ravens that's a free agent, which could help bring some of that, of that system over to the Giants. And ironically, we need a guard, right? That's one of the spots where we need to fill.
Yeah, and that could happen in the draft too. I'm just curious if you think, that they'll make a priority on signing Wandell and Illuminor and McFadden and Belton and Bellinger, and I'm probably missing 1 or 2 other guys. You think there's a priority on bringing these guys back, or they're going to have to wait?
I think they're going to have to wait. I think that's just my opinion. I don't know. I mean, Wandell in the open market, I'm sure he wants to wait himself because he's probably, like Ryan alluded to, he's going to get somewhere between 16 and 18 million. And as a slot receiver, I don't know if the Giants could do that. I don't think that would be a good move. I'd rather move on at that price. But who knows? I mean, Harbaugh, he'll work his magic with Shane if he wants to keep him.
So, Sean, we've had this conversation, you and I, a couple times because I'm dead set that this is the move. And I know a couple guys do not agree with this. Again, 2019, 2021, 2023, the Ravens draft the first-round draft pick as a wide receiver. Zay Flowers worked out. But this team needs a wide receiver one until Neighbors is healthy. They're kind of presenting Neighbors' health as he's on his way, maybe slightly behind. Maybe he's not available till October 1st.
Right.
You need a number one. Even if they sign Wandale, you can't go in with Slayton, Wandale, and Theo again. Like, that premise has to go away. So, Sean, the question is, are you signing a free agent and wide receiver? Are you drafting a wide receiver? Something's going to have to change because you're going to need a dynamic wide receiver when the season starts.
Yeah, I think they can get a wide receiver in round 2. That Surratt from Indiana would be a nice round 2 pick. He's exactly what would complement here and could be that number one, great route runner, good size, catches everything. So I think they'll go around. Listen, let's not rule out the fact that with Harbaugh, with what he did and getting the best player available, you could have guys like Sonny Styles. You could have a Caleb Downs being drafted at 5. Like, that's the great thing. Like, just give me the best players there. But I don't think I'm going to go free agency because I don't think the free agency class is that good from what I remember.
You mean wide receiver wise?
Wide receiver wise. Yeah, I don't think so. But I think you have to get, like, going back to guys that are out there. Like, if you can get Linderbaum, I would not be surprised they go for Linderbaum. I would not be surprised if they get, Patrick Ricard, bring him over, instill in those guys. There's probably a couple depth pieces on defense that they could bring over that won't cost much and can replace guys we have now. So I think, man, he took Kyle Hamilton a few years ago, right? Like, I would not be surprised if they go Caleb Downs in the first round with what he can do and what it is. So that's kind of my thought initially is Caleb Downs.
Chris, you think that this again, the Giants need like the defense, Chris, feels like it was, I don't want to use the word undercoached, but the talent is there. Like, they have some good talent on defense, but the scheme sucked and the coaching sucked and, the defense just underperformed. Where the offense, I think, is where it lacks, I don't know if credibility is the right word, but explosiveness. Chris, are they going to be able to just draft a guy in the second round and hope he's Neighbors? Or like, because, if they go down, if they don't have a vertical threat, and you're going 0-4 again, you're right back where you were last year.
Yeah, well, free agency is before the draft, so you're going to see,
but they're average though, Chris. There really isn't any guys that you're like, woo.
But I'll throw a name out there because you're going to need pieces. A guy like Alec Pierce from the Colts. I think he got 1,000 yards and didn't have a heck of a lot of catches, but I don't want to say he's very explosive, but he is a little bit explosive. Could stretch the field a little bit. So I think there could be pieces. I want to say pieces, whether that's 2s or 3s, at least an upgrade at the receiver spot. And then, maybe you in the draft, then you're looking at that number one. But you definitely have to upgrade in free agency at spots. Wandale goes, and like you said with Neighbors, he's not ready. Now you're really in a conundrum. So I think there will be upgrades in free agency. May not be ones, but there will be upgrades.
Sean, doesn't that feel from a premise wise like the old Giants? Hey, let's not really get a great wide receiver. Let's just patch a guy in and hope for the best. That feels like old Giants football.
But there's nobody out there, Craig.
Well, no, but I'm saying
right. No, I agree. But here's the thing. Like, all right, if Monken's the OC, he runs a lot of 2 running backs, 2 tight ends.
A lot of 22.
So how much do we need a receiver in the first round? Like, I agree. Like, we should get somebody, but you can get a guy that can be a different. You can get a difference maker in the second round at wide receiver because there's guys that are projected in the second round that are really, really good, is my point. So based on the offense they're going to run, I think they're going to run a lot of 2 tight ends. So maybe they go tight end in the first round. Maybe they go like a guy like Kenyon Sadiq if he's going to go
likely
high.
from
They sign likely. They could sign likely. That could be an option as well.
Which I'm not a huge fan of likely, but I don't hate him. I just not a huge fan.
I mean, you got Carnell Tate to look at as well. I know Cole mentioned in that there. I just think for this draft, and I've been saying it for a while now, you got to go best player available. And if Caleb Downs is the best player available, or Sonny Styles as an inside linebacker is the best player available, then that's who you go with. And because that's what we need. Like everything else will work itself out. Like, again, the Ravens are known for drafting very well, and they're getting guys in later rounds who make an impact, make a difference. So we don't have to reach. We don't have to, stretch to get some because it's a need. We absolutely can go BPA.
So this is the best point. Thank you, Cold, because this is what I'm trying to paint. The odds, aren't the odds better for a first round receiver? That's the only thing. Is if you draft a guy in round 2 or round 3, guys don't make it a lot of times.
It's not the same like it was before because these college wide receivers are much more pro ready than they have been. Didn't Ladd McConkey go in the second round, if I'm not mistaken?
Maybe. He was not
go?
A first round pick. He could have even been a third round pick. Somebody in the chat.
Where was Puka Nacua drafted?
Oh, dude, it happens. We're not saying it doesn't.
Yeah,
happen.
I know. I'm saying so the odds. That's the odds now because these wide receivers are more pro ready than they ever were. They can come and step on. And even if you got if we're talking about, I think it's Elijah Surratt from Indiana. He's a wide receiver 1 in Indiana, but if he drops to the second round, you're not like his odds are going to be pretty damn good. He'll drop to the second round because they're going to look at his 40 time and not his game speed, and that may drop him down. Plus, all the other positions that have talent above that. So I don't think the odds, it's not the same. From everything I'm hearing, these wide receivers are more pro ready than they've ever been. No matter what round you get them in.
To Sean's point, playing with 2 tight ends, there is a pretty decent class of free agents, tight ends. So you may lean a little bit more to the tight end, especially, Monken likes to use the tight ends. So, you may see that as well. There's some good names out there.
Drew's in the house, and Drew said Puka was a 5th round draft pick after Eric Gray.
Yeah.
What a slap in the face that one is. Yeah, Drew, we were talking about Likely a minute ago. Likely was a tweener, at Coastal. Like, I was never a big fan. Fast guy, very vertical. Of course, now he's had some success in the pros. I was never a huge fan of his game.
Yeah, we know you like those old school tight ends. You don't like those new school tight ends.
No,
I'll give you a name at tight end just because Harbaugh saw him twice a year. David Njoku, not the best, decent, good, upgrade.
I'd rather you sign Bellinger.
I don't know. It depends, but once again, Harbaugh's going to go with who he knows, and he plays him twice a year for a number of years. I just throwing a name out.
Absolutely,
keep an eye on it.
So this is interesting because again, you guys know I'm a tight end guy. So and we do the draft show. I'm always reviewing tight ends. So the Raiders draft Michael Mayer from Notre Dame, 2 years ago, and then double down and draft, Brock
Bowers.
Bowers. And it's like, why do we need Bowers? But you can't really pass on him, right? So Drew says, this would be a great move. I want to trade for Michael Mayer. I got to give him credit because there's no way the Raiders need 2 stud tight ends. They don't even have a quarterback to throw him the ball, So like trading for Michael Mayer is like a real thing. Like that's a Howie Roseman move, man, because that literally changes the game. He's way more dynamic than Theo. And, I think that there's an opportunity that definitely could happen. I mean, Bellinger will be gone, but Mike, I love it, Drew. Michael Mayer. Trade.
I'd be shocked if that happened. I would be absolutely shocked if that happened.
I can't do the Njoku thing. I don't think that guy's done anything.
He's good. He's definitely good. He's just injured. But other than that, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, Drew. Drew says, unlike Theo, he could catch the ball when the ball hits his hands. All that's true. Oh, that's very
watch
true.
Theo excel in Todd Monken's system. Just watch. Yep. Year 3 for Theo. Listen, I said Wandale this year was going to be good. Theo, year 3. Watch out for it.
Yeah, he'll continue to develop. He'll figure something out. You can't lead the league, in tight ends with drops. So, or you won't have a job very long.
They led the Giants in touchdowns.
What we didn't say that he couldn't catch. We said he drops too many
It's
balls.
all positivity here tonight. We're not gonna go back.
It's Happy Harbaugh Day for you people that are tuning in.
That's right.
Last night we found out around 11 o'clock, pumped out some content there. So again, John Harbaugh, new coach of the Giants, resets it. Chris, who's the one guy that Harbaugh is going to be like, dude, you got to go?
He's got to look at all the tape. Deontay Banks.
Okay.
Well, Slayton, it's hard to see because I think when a coach comes in like Harbaugh, everybody comes in with a clean slate, and he wants to.
His cap money is huge.
I think
bro.
the cap. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Slayton's going to come to camp because it's a $16 million cap hit. Now, Ryan DeLevy said you could trade him, but who wants to take on that contract? That's got to be somebody on the other side.
Well, that's more of a package deal. Yeah, if
right,
you were trading him, you're wrapping up like John Runyon Jr. and Slayton, and you're sending him to somebody who's ready to win.
And once again, guys, you need 90 guys to go into camp. So I don't think Harbaugh comes in here and starts getting rid of guys unless it becomes an issue with you're upgrading at that spot. If not, you're going into camp with 90. You're all going to, they're all coming in with a clean slate. And let's remember Banks. I have no faith in him really anymore other than a kick returner. But he did decline when Wink left, okay? Wink was his guy, and you saw him play the best his rookie year. So if the right defensive coordinator comes in, if Banks maybe not the number one, but maybe he actually improves and could be serviceable coming in the game. So once again, I think Harbaugh is just, you got to come to camp with 90 guys and make the cuts.
Sean, I'll throw the same question to you. Who's the guy that like John walks in and he's like, you got to go? I
mean, I can't. If Darius Slayton survives another new coaching staff, I'm going to lose my mind. I absolutely am going to lose my mind. Like he just gotta. Good Lord, he's gotta go. Nothing against great guy, team guy, all that, but good Lord, he's gotta go. And it's probably going to be there's going to be guys at like the tail end that they're going to get rid of, like some of those other guys. I think he's going to come in and overhaul the coaching staff, and he's going to overhaul the roster. Like 90 guys are not, Chris, you make a good point, but I don't think that's going to matter to him. He's going to want his type of guys. He's looked at the tape. He's looked at certain things. He's going to know who to get rid of, who not to get rid of. They may keep Banks. It's a good point because he's got the physical ability. Depending who he brings in as a DB coach, they may think, okay, I can work with him. I can see something there. I mean, maybe you package him up in a trade to get somebody, an extra draft pick or somebody else. That could be an option there as well. You can package Slayton and Banks and send them whatever. Hell, you can send Darius Slayton to Indy to go be with his buddy. So he can
and you
play,
know what? The roster gets overturned 30% as it is. So he's already walking into guys with open spots like a Wandale and Flott, probably not going to come back. So he's going to open up. He's walking into spots that are going to be open. But yeah, I agree with you. He's going to definitely get rid of some guys, but I don't know how soon that's going to be because you're going to have to wait till you get to camp, I would think.
Yeah, and Slayton's contract, I think it's I keep Brad had mentioned this. It's something like after June 1st, if we trade him, like it's better than right. It's a post June cut trade or whatever, post June 1st. So that contract is not.
You could break up the cap hit into 2 years. You don't have to pay
exactly.
Up front.
There's
so
options.
If you cut him, you do
contract.
8 this year, do 8 next year. And as you know, guys, the Giants are going to have 127 million in 27. So that 8 million is not going to be that big of a deal.
Absolutely, and it's well worth it to make that trade.
And as you know, Sean, if Harbaugh is in control of this roster more so than Shane, he's not going to give a crap. He's going to get rid of him if he's going to want to get rid of him.
Absolutely,
he's not going to let him hang around.
Draft him, who brought him, who signed him. Yeah, exactly.
Number.
All right, you ready for this?
Exactly.
In 2026, his base salary is $12.2 million. He's got a $3 million signing bonus. And then he's got a $250 workout bonus, which puts him at a $16 million cap hit for 2026, which is this year, in case you're living under a rock. 5.26% of the salary cap. That's a lot of dough, bro, for one guy. And then cutting him would cost you 15.75. So you can't really cut him.
Well, Craig, you can cut him because you could break that up into 2 years, like Sean and I were saying, 7.5 this year, 7.5.
Yeah, if you do it post June 1st, if you trade him post, there's things you can do to make that hit less, and then you defer it where it's like you said, Chris, like 2027, they're gonna have a lot more money.
I mean, if it's negligence, if he's still on this roster,
the difference is that his salary drops in half from 12 to 6 next year. Well, that'd be 2 years, I guess. 2027 drops from 12 to 6. And his dead cap hit number is 13. I'm sorry, his cap hit is 13, and his dead cap number is only 3 million, dude. Like, if you find I don't know. I don't think you eat that money. You either trade him or you hold on to him and then
you could split it. But wouldn't it be something when he goes through the roster evaluation and sees the tape and he's sitting there with Joe Shane, he looks at this contract. You'd love to see Harbaugh, what he would say to Shane.
Right?
Am I reading this right? Is there a typo?
Yeah.
Is this
you got?
I just watched the whole tape on Slayton for the year. Is this correct, Joe?
Right? You paid this guy because he knew the offense, so that's why you gave him as much money as you did, because he knew the offense.
Yeah, and remember, guys, he waited till the end of free agency. They were desperate on both ends. Slayton didn't get signed anywhere. Joe hadn't addressed the receiver spot really, and they both came to both met in the middle. Well, actually, Slayton won.
I know. That's again. I can't say this, and I'm excited to see what Harbaugh is going to do with the roster. Like we're gonna function like a normal team. We're not going to be having a roster like a poverty franchise like they were doing on game day with elevations and who they were signing and not signing. Like this is going to be run like a professional organization again. Like that's why Harbaugh's coming here. Do you think he's going to come here to deal with what we've been doing with the last 4 years?
No way.
Hell no. Hell no. So yeah, better times are ahead. Guys are going to be gone. Even if they do stay, playing time will be different. Like Harbaugh's not afraid to move on from coaches and players.
I'm going to double down. You know, the biggest place that the fans are going to notice is in the stadium. Okay. 50% of the stadium is filled up with the other team or the opponent's team's fans. Harbaugh is going to erase that. Giants fans are going to come back to the stadium and watch the games and be excited that he's there. You know, because I it's nothing more frustrating than sitting amongst Eagles fans and thousands of Cowboy fans or whatever, Chiefs fans. I think that John brings back the fans to the stadium.
Absolutely. He looked at this roster and said, I can win with this roster. He's like, I got to add some pieces, of course, but I can win with the roster that's here. I can do some things with this roster. So, yeah, absolutely.
And when you look at rosters, arguably, the Giants have a better roster than the Steelers, if you look at it. But it's just amazing what good coaching with Tomlin and that staff did with a roster like that. And the Giants are probably a little better than the Steelers.
Absolutely. And we're not going to have to worry when guys get injured, like what games are going to look like, because we have coaching that's going to overcome it. Like, that's what I'm looking forward to. I want to see word out there is that Brusilo will be back. So I'm excited about that. But like everybody else, like I want to see who he brings in everywhere else. I want to see an overhaul of the coaching staff. That's absolutely what I want to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
And players
No, go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, I'm sure Brusilo and Harbaugh, you know, being that he coached for 18 years with the Ravens, have crossed paths, especially when Brusilo was with the Patriots. I'm sure these guys know each other, maybe not on the closest terms, but I'm sure they've interacted.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
And you're not going to get rid of a guy that had a top 10 O-line this year. Like no head coach is going to do that, right?
We know that. Harbaugh knows that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Harbaugh knows what the line did and what Brusilo did to transform this line. These guys are informed of what goes around the league with other teams and coaches.
Sean, the report was that he watched a half a day's worth of tape on Dart, so he saw the offensive line, protect them and open up the holes. Remember, like we had a pretty good running back duo. Tracy was hurt, then came back. Scatterboo got hurt and came back, got hurt. Like these guys were on and off the field. Like I'm sure, he looked at that film and was like, I can work with that. Right. Or, hey, Todd, I'm going to send you some film. Look at this and let me know. And Todd's like, yeah, I can work with that. Oh, I can make that better. So again, they didn't take the job because they got asked to dinner. He's taken the job and was offered the job because he could not only turn the franchise around, but he's actually putting the work in so he can hit the ground hit the ground running. He knows that there's good pieces here.
And no more Mike Kafka. No more Kafka. He is gone. I don't care if he has success with somebody else. It will not bother me. Like, that's the other thing. Like, I don't want to hear about what former Giants are doing, what former Giant coaches are doing. Everybody should be focused on the current Giants, media, fans, everything. It should be the focus of this Giants team now, not what somebody else is doing with another team. Like, that's what Harbaugh should bring back as well.
And I think if Rob was talking about Jim Leonard, I can see Leonard retaining Bowen for the outside linebackers, right? Working with Tibbs and working with Burns and Golston, if he considered him. I don't know if he's considered a D end or not, but working with the linebackers and then bringing in Pierce to work with the inside guys, like whoever they bring in, because they're going to draft the linebacker. Like, I can't see. I know Okereke had 2 back-to-back, decent games. I don't know. He's going to have to, take a pay cut if he wants to come back. And the goal is there's 3, 4, 5 really good middle linebackers in the draft.
There are.
And you really you can't draft a linebacker outside right this year outside the second round. First round, second round, they're going to have to draft a linebacker to McFadden can wear the dot, but they need a guy in there that can run. Chris, there's a lot of linebackers out there. You on the same page with us here that Okereke might not be back?
I mean, what does he do? $7 million this year, maybe? I'm not sure of that number.
I'll look it up.
And free agency kicks off, I think, that second week of March. It could be a something where he lets him test the market and comes back to him. Tough to say. You're going to have to fill that spot either way. But once again, Harbaugh with the evaluation of watching the tape. It's going to be interesting on who he lets go with Shane and who he doesn't try to retain before free agency begins.
Yeah, and we ever known the Ravens not to have good linebackers outside and inside?
That's been their MO for years. Yeah.
Yeah, right? So absolutely, we're going to have good linebacker play again, which has been what the Giants have always been about. We need to get back to that.
Yep.
You're not going to be happy with this. So he's due a $5.8 million salary, a $3 million signing bonus. So that already puts you at 6.1.
Okay.
6.1, and then another $3 million for roster bonus if he makes the team, and then his cap hit is $14 million, and his dead cap number for next year is $14 million.
And how many years left? He has one more year left.
He's got 26 is the end for him.
Okay, so he might come back then.
I mean, he did play better with Bolin as DC, so maybe new DC will invigorate him. I think that's another thing too. Is whoever's going to be a DC is going to invigorate these guys. I don't think these guys were happy playing for Bowen at all.
Yeah,
I think whatever.
Yeah, we saw a lot of guys regress. Right, we saw Tyler Nubin take a step back. We've seen Banks take a step back. We saw Okereke, even though he had over 100 tackles, just wasn't the same earlier on in the season. So is it the system? Is it the player? Maybe with the right guy. I mean, we see a guy like Bobby Wagner, right? He seems to thrive no matter what system.
Yeah, but there's a difference. Bobby Wagner, and I've said this a million times, go back and watch the tape. Biggest problem Okereke has is that he's never on the ground anymore.
I know.
He doesn't bring guys down. He's not wrapping up. Bobby Wagner will hit you in the face. He'll drag you down by the back of your jersey. He'll pancake you, run over you, run through you. Like Bobby Wagner, even at 38 years old or whatever he is, he's not afraid to hit anybody. Okereke is afraid to hit guys.
I'm not giving an excuse to Bobby because he did get over 100 tackles, but with a team that's actually putting victories together, and listen, Burns has been on a losing team his whole career, and he plays hard and he goes for it. It'd be interesting to see if Bobby does play even better with a team that is a little more inspiring and has some wins. I'm not making an excuse for him, but I'm just wondering if that plays a part.
Well, if that's the case, if Okereke comes back, then they're going to have to draft like a defensive tackle, defensive end, like, because they got to keep those guys clean because McFadden's going to probably come back. I think they'll probably sign Moose. Oh, no, Moose is under contract as a backup, but
yeah, he's only his second year.
Hey, you
So I
can't
say
cut
you-
everybody.
three.
You got too many spots to fill.
they need to then bolster that defensive line. The Ravens have always had good defensive front. So,
Yep. And good linebackers. They got to get an inside linebacker. I would be shocked if they don't take a linebacker in the draft or sign a linebacker.
The one
in
red
free
flag with the
agency.
Ravens defense, and maybe this is, is you can't pin everything on Zach Orr, who's defensive coordinator, but they were very poor against the run on defense. So that's obviously the Giants' problem the past bunch of years. So that needs to be addressed with somebody in the middle with Dex, along with Alexander.
That might be an Orr problem, though, too.
Yeah.
Not a lot of Ravens fans were happy with Zach Orr this year.
Yeah. No.
and that, yeah. I mean,
Which is why his name's not being thrown around to come over with Harbaugh. So
Yeah.
that's.
yeah.
And
Clay
listen, I mean, safety play's always been good with the Ravens. So a guy like Tyler Nubin's got to be excited, right? Like this can reinvigorate him. Like Javon Holland can actually, play to his contract at this point because, again, when have we known a Ravens team that didn't have good safeties? It's very few and far between.
And that's another player that didn't live up to what we expected in this defense.
I'm not judging anybody on defense because of Shane Bowen.
Yeah, I think everybody gets a
they
clean-
all get a pass, other than Deontay Banks. Deontay Banks is the only one who doesn't get a pass.
Not get a pass, but I think he gets to camp. Do you guys agree that he makes it to camp?
Yeah.
Still on his rookie contract.
So it's I guess so.
You can't get rid of everybody. You're going to lose Flott. You can't get rid of everybody. You cut him at the end of the camp if you have to, but you got to have bodies.
Are you going to lose Fly or do you sign Fly? I think you got to.
No. I think that you sign Flop, but I don't know if they're going to have enough money for Flop.
I'd like to see, when he gets on that open market. This team can go out of.
By the way, Clay from Brooklyn, I'll throw this comment up here. I don't know why people think this is so easy. Chanel's never leaving KC. I mean, the guy's an all-pro animal. Why would he just leave Kansas City? He's a young dude. He's only been in the league for 3 years.
But is he UFA? Is he unrestricted?
I mean, I'm assuming his contract's up this year.
And guys only get one shot at that second contract. And if he's going to get a big chunk, he's going to get it in the open market on that second contract, which is now.
I just don't think they're all pro linebackers leaving Kansas City. I just don't see it.
But why not?
And I don't think we're going to have to worry about money anymore. I think this is a new day. Giants are going to get it done. Whatever it takes to get it done, they'll make the money work. If they got to extend guys, restructure guys, whatever they got to do, they're going to get it done. We're not going to be nickel and diamond. We're not going to be like, oh, we can't sign this guy. Now let's look at the Ravens. Have they signed big name guys?
He's a UFA right now. He's an unrestricted free agent right now because he got drafted in 2020.
Okay.
I just don't see it. I don't see because he's good. I don't see him just jumping ship to get another contract. I think they're going to pay him to stay.
But he was a first round pick, right?
No, third.
Oh, he was third. That's right. He fell. Okay. So I was going to say that. Right. I remember.
I think you get some good linebackers in the draft. Yeah, you can get some good linebackers in the draft. Yeah. I think they'll draft the linebacker.
The dicey part is free agency.
Right.
But the dicey part is free agency comes before the draft. So you're rolling the dice on spots where you need some depth, hoping that you get that guy to fill the spot in the draft. So that's the only thing.
All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way back to the top and we're going to go through your questions before we rock out of here because it is Happy Harbaugh Day. And you guys should be very excited about all that cool stuff. Fantasy football ended great, Chris. We got to mail out the winners grand prize. Sean, we still got to give away. We got to give away those hats.
Oh, yes, we do.
Chris, did you see the hats we're giving away
with the numbers? Yeah, I did see them. They're pretty hot.
Yeah, they're from the
nice.
Our boys at No Cap over there.
Great
we got to figure out a way to give these away.
I just ordered one for my nephew for his birthday, so it'll be there on Tuesday. I think his birthday's Saturday, so he'll have it by Tuesday. Got him a Scatabo one.
Yeah, baby.
Oh,
Let's
love that.
did the Rush discount work for you?
It did work. Yes, it did today.
All right, here we go. All right, impromptu show tonight. Thanks for watching another episode of Rush Bang. Please do me a favor and go to the YouTube and subscribe. Why wouldn't you guys subscribe to that YouTube channel? Tell your moms, your wives, your cousins, your next door neighbors. Just hit the subscribe button. It does help us out. Things on the horizon. We are considering. We've had a draft show and a preseason show on like Wednesdays. We're thinking about something new, so we have some things on the burner. That this Harbaugh threw it off. Right now, I'm supposed to be having a meeting about something that I was going to announce next week, but now I can't announce it because of the Harbaugh thing. So know that in the next 2 weeks, I think we'll have an announcement on something pretty cool. One last drive is where we just basically take all your questions. So I'm going to go all the way back up to the top and see what we got. I mean, got John in here. Bateman Flowers, look at that. Okay, exactly. Looking. Question. We need him. Huge. A lot of guys. Shout out to James. Shout out to Rob and Mark, Daniel, Cold. Kessler's in here. Anthony's in here. Questions. Let's see. We're back. Oh, here we go. Brad says, Chris, dare I say it's a great day to be a Giants fan once again. Chris, is it a good day to be a Giants fan again?
It's obvious, man. It's a great day. I almost feel like this is a college program we've been living in, and the program just got lifted, right? The program just hit a home run with a Nick Saban coming over, and a college atmosphere. Because I feel like we've been in the doldrums for so many years.
My Michigan State Spartans suck all the time, so I'm used to that.
It's a great day. And once again, we win a few more games. Maybe this doesn't happen. Or, hey, Russell Wilson plays well. Maybe this doesn't happen. Maybe Jackson Darling has a couple starts and we really don't know what he is. But the fact that maybe that was meant to be, right?
All right, I'm looking for questions. I got a lot of statements. I'm looking for questions. Oh, wait, nope, that's an exclamation point, not a question. Let's see, K-Max in here. Dash is in here. Great to see Dash. Let's see. Do I have questions? Come on, we got to have something. Cold wants to know where James has been hiding. I can't even answer that one. Let's see. What do I got? No questions. Just a lot of banter though. Here you go. Munkin runs a lot of two tight ends and running backs. Yeah. That will benefit us. Again, maybe it's another reason to sign Bellinger. Maybe he plays tight end 2 and fullback. I guess that's always possible, right? God, questions, no questions. See, we're all just getting along so well that no one's questioning anybody on anything. They're just like,
I'm looking as well.
Let's see. I never said you were Cold says, I never said you were broken. I did say old. Yes, thank you, Cold. You did say old. That's true. How about this one? What do you want? Why do you want AP as a DC? What top defense has he called for?
You, Craig.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at this point where, like, I don't know, Cold. Everybody needs a chance. Like, if we only just take guys with experience, like, no one gets any experience, right? And the guy does have coaching experience. I mean, he was an interim head coach. He was a head coach in college. Like he's been around the game, like assistant coaching, interim head coach. Like he's got to have learned something. And they did rave about his interview. Now, I don't know if that was just newspaper fodder, but I don't know. I think Pierce is getting a little bit of a bad shake. You're right. No, he hasn't been a coordinator in the NFL and was there long enough to call plays. But he was an interim head coach and then got hired for that next season. And he has had some success in college. I don't know. No, he's not, called the top 10 defense. I just think that I think he can do it. That's just my personal opinion. I think he can do it. Because in practice, he'll make a tough linebacker, right? What was his biggest thing? Chris, you remember what made Antonio Pierce so good?
Intelligence, very smart.
Totally smart player. Guy watched more film than anybody. That's a pretty good, attribute to have. Maybe he can rub off on some guys. I just think he'd be good for the franchise. But to your point, no, he hasn't done it. But I don't know if I'm afraid of that or not. I don't think I am. I'm still looking here.
I got one for me because Drew, being the goofball he is. So he's asking if, let's be honest, Wanda had that year because Neighbors got hurt. So you're saying you're responsible for Neighbors getting hurt, Joker. Listen, I got connections. We got connections. I'm not going to say that. But no, Wandale did not have that year because Neighbors got hurt. Wandale had that year because he finally had a quarterback to throw to. Remember, Wandale had 90 catches last year, but because the quarterback couldn't throw to get him yak or anything else.
And the scheme was all short of the sticks.
Yeah, that's because that's where he was. He's a yak guy, and a quarterback couldn't lead him, get him yak yards, or couldn't hit him in the right direction. You got 90 catches. You get a real quarterback, you can put up the yards. So there we go. No, I not have anything happen to Neighbors.
Chris, I'm going to send this one to you because I think you could handle that. Could Banks move to safety?
I don't know, and I'm not willing to chance it. He doesn't stick his head in there. Sometimes you're afraid. You feel like he doesn't want to get down and dirty with tackling. I wouldn't chance it. I don't think any experiments are worth it at this point.
I just don't think he has that
instinct to the killer.
Like
I won't say killer instinct, but the
that instinct, that style of play, coming downhill.
Yeah, but it's interesting coming out of college, coming out of Maryland. He was supposed to be this physical corner. He was more of a press guy, but I don't know if it's just him checking out. It's kind of taken his will away because of all the naysayers. But you've seen a different player than what we saw his rookie year. But I don't think it's now the time to experiment.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't play much press man either. Now I will say maybe he turns into Devin Hester, where he's the occasional DB and he becomes this great punt returner, kick returner, right? Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, if he can earn a spot still as a cornerback and you could utilize him on specials, then it's worth
That's what I'm saying. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Sean, you have that one. Do you guys want to see Chapman at fullback? He's a thumper.
Yes, I do. Absolutely would like to see him get some reps at fullback. He did it in college. They utilized him a little bit here. We're gonna have an offensive coordinator, and our O-line coach Brazil likes fullback as well. You remember he was the one that was bringing in the fullback to this offense. So yeah, I would like to see Chapman get some more reps at fullback if they don't bring anybody else in.
Cole says he hates my sweatshirt. Why do you hate my sweatshirt? Are you? You must be a Penn State guy.
No, he's a Michigan fan.
Maybe
he's a Michigan fan.
Well,
Michigan fan. Yeah.
Sorry, Cole. Can't help that. All right. So our West Coast pal says, "What's up, Milan? What's up, fam? How do you guys feel about drafting a wide receiver for 5? I'm in, dude. I'm in. Lock me in. I'm good for it right now. I am 100% cool with it. And now I know I have a number 1 wide receiver before Neighbors comes back, and then I have wide receiver 1 and I have 1A instead of when Neighbors comes back. I've got 1 and 3. Like." Our receivers suck. Like, we need legit receivers. I'm cool with it. I'm also cool with trading out of 5 and dropping down to 10 if that makes it easier. But no, if we have chump wide receivers, I'm not going to be happy. What else do I have? Let's see. That's all I got. All right. Well, look, we'll be back on Monday. Ryan Dunleavy will be off. Sean, I think I will be here now, so I think I will be.
Oh, okay.
I will be here. I think. Is Lori coming on?
I think it's the following week.
All right, we'll have Lori from WFAN on in 2 weeks. See what she thinks about all these great moves that are happening. We're definitely got some things brewing. Like I said, instead of our second show, which is called Rush Hour, we got some other things that are bubbling up. Milan, you just jumped on. You missed it. I don't think we're gonna do. Oh, you mean the draft show? Yes, we always do the annual draft show. It's like where everybody comes on. Yes, but we're not gonna be doing the weekly pre-draft show on Wednesday because we have something else bubbling. And Colt says he has another question. You missed my safety question. Where, Colt?
Oh yeah, he was asking how many safeties do we need? Something like that.
Oh, I must have skimmed over it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a hard question to answer. I don't know how hurt Holland is.
Depends who the coordinator is too, right?
Right.
Yeah, good point. Good point. We'll be back on Monday, and we'll be crushing the contract, see how much money he got. I think he's going to get somewhere between 20 and 22 million, whatever. Nice job, Mr. Merritt and Mr. Tisch, on stepping up.
Yeah, I don't care what he gets paid. It doesn't affect the team. It doesn't affect any
Look,
moves they can make.
And money for the staff too. We heard that as well. How much money he's allowed. He wanted to have a certain amount for his staff, which is great.
Exactly. Love it.
Cold is still killing me because 2 years ago he's boycotting the draft show because he got stuck with a bad host because we stuck him with that other gentleman, that other host that's no longer here.
I'm putting out there now. I want to be on night one. I've not been on night one as of yet. No. It's a new era, new everything. I got to be on night one. It's too much excitement. I gotta be on night one.
We can have Chris host then day 2 because he's back. We're back.
Yeah,
Harbaugh's back.
Chris is a great host.
Giants are back.
He's perfect.
Keep drinking. All right, sounds good.
Great host. He's perfect for night 2.
Night 2 is fine. I'll do day 3, 4, whatever you want.
Exactly. We're back.
5, day 6.
Come on, man. Cold is killing the draft show. The draft show is customer appreciation night. We only do it
Craig,
so you guys
put me
can
on
get
the day with the guys that don't get drafted. Since I've been away, you could punish me. Put me on the day when nobody gets drafted, the free agent pickup day on Sunday.
No, you get
the guys that are
you're
on the
awesome.
street
Look
that
at
haven't been drafted.
Cole. Listen, Cole is good with that. You're the man, Nails.
All
so
right,
you're
thanks,
good.
Cole.
You got Cole's approval. You got night 2.
Cole. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, we're
Back
out of
at
here.
you.
We'll see you guys Monday. Hey, be excited for a Giants fan. Go buy some gear. Subscribe to GiantsRush.com. We got Giant gear on the website, nygiantsrush.com. I'm putting a new article up there from Little Kessler. All right. So there'll be some more articles up there. I wrote a piece on coaches a couple weeks ago, which now is not timely. But who cares? Because we're back. The Giants are back. The Giants are going to be competitive. The Giants are going to play above the X's and O's. We're going to have meaningful football after Halloween.
Yep. Absolutely.
Meaningful games in September.
Meaningful games in September.